Okay, good evening, everyone, or good morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Billy and I are back after a 1-week hiatus. Yes, I think it had been a long time since I hadn't done a live stream on a Sunday. We had to go to a friend's 50th birthday party. It was a very nice birthday. We were there to probably 7 or 8 p.m. So I wasn't sure how long it was going to last, and that's why I did not have the live stream. So I apologize. I see there's a lot of you already here. Let's see who we've got. We got Alan Zibelman. We got your Cheshire Yeoman 2. Alan Jones, Belly Dance Arabia, Brady Girding. Who else? Tim Goodson. St. Louis 9 or Saint Louis, if Saint Louis is French. Jerry Plain. Yeah, I am a little early, as usual. And then as more people join, we'll start covering a little bit the title of the live stream, which is about China and a Chinese, one of the, I would say he's seems like an important guy. I think he's a Secretary General for the Xinhua News Agency, which is the state agency there. And yes, there's a lot of criticism of China, and that's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to look at their policy towards gold and why I think it's important to listen to what they're saying. Some people argue that China has over 20,000 metric tons of gold. Officially, they've only got about 2,500, but I think it's, or 2,000, but I think it's a lot more. Isabella's here from Austria. Dilwyn Roberts, North Wales. Tim Gibson, Terry Florence from Southern Indiana. Shane Sturgis, hi, Shane, nice to see you. Pablo Pina is here. Pablo, longtime follower. Billy, well, no, he's not exhausted. He's just sleeps a lot these days, but he's all right. Andrew Watson, Basingstoke. Tim Goodson, do you think a currency collapse will affect people of the United States relative to, say, Indonesia? It will affect people all around the world, but yes, it will probably have, America would have a lot more to lose than China, I would say. I'm not too sure about Indonesia. Probably Indonesia's probably going to get hurt more than China, I would say. Daniel Thacker, thank you for your super chat. Jay says China stole US gold. I'm not too sure about that. What I know, I think, is that Chiang Kai-shek, who was the guy who lost the civil war in China and went to Taiwan at the time, or Formosa, the island of Taiwan. Apparently, he took a lot of the Chinese state gold to Taiwan. That's a different story there. Ralph Potts. Hi, Ralph. Chris Ferraro from Brooklyn, New York. Daniel Thacker says, thank you for teaming up with Star Path Academy. Yeah, we've spoken several times now in the last few months. He's a good guy, our pad. Hi, 126. Marius Schwartz, I hope I said that right, in Poland, formerly from Chicago. MW351 says, hit the like button. Billy Proud, yeah. I'll try to avoid saying that word. Bitcoin is having a tough day. I thought that was yesterday. I thought it had rebounded a little bit. Let's have a look now. Yeah, Bitcoin is actually, I think it was yesterday, it dropped 25% from 56,000 to 42,000. But right now it looks like we're at 49,000. So that was yesterday. But yes, it's a tough day. There's only one way. Thank you for your super chat, Silver Squeeze, January 29th. Lisa Sumner from California. Hi, Lisa. Sam from Israel, Evergrande, rumors, true. I don't know. There's so much. I don't know. Right now, it seems things are at bay in terms of Evergrande. Alex Cooper, thoughts on China invading Taiwan and Russia taking on large? Yeah, I really have. I think it's just pure propaganda from the West and the globalists. I think they are desperate and they want to drum up a crisis. And it's interesting you mentioned that. We're going to cover that because actually I can do it right now. Why not? There were a couple of articles. One was yesterday, and I'll share it right now. And it was the top article in the FT, at least online. So this was the top article yesterday. US says Russia could invade Ukraine in early 22. And they show these pictures and these drawings. It reminds me a lot of when they're trying to justify invading Iraq, right? They show these photos and they tell us what it is and whatever. So that was yesterday. So today, and this is the FT, which is a major globalist mouthpiece. And today, surprise, surprise, this is the article that they have. And this was the top article as well. When I looked at it, it might have changed now. There you go. U.S. Defense Chief warns of China rehearsals for attack on Taiwan. So, yes, personally, I don't think the Russians or the Chinese are going to fall for this. I don't think first that Russia has any intention of invading Ukraine. And I don't think China has any intention of invading Taiwan, even though I want to give you a little analogy of what I think about Taiwan. Some of you might know a bit more about Taiwan and China. You could correct me, but I'm going to try it anyway. Paul Mark DeSantis says Mary's not wearing any pants. Well, no comment. Oh, Rochelle says that RPAD published the interview. Okay, that's good. I think we did one, and then we started talking after we finished. And he said, "Why don't we talk about what we're talking now and go live?" So he's going to publish another one, and hopefully I'll publish it on my channel as well next week. So yeah, it's 9 o'clock. So I'm going to start here then. The title of the live stream is about a top Chinese official saying that gold is going to be very important for the transformation of the world industrial or restructuring of a world industrial structure. And so I'll show you the article here, share the screen with you. So this is Gong Shixiang. Gold will play an important role in restructuring the world's industrial structure. This is actually at a Chinese, it's called Boao Forum International sorry, it says, okay, on December 3rd, the 2020 Boao Forum for Chinese Entrepreneurs and the International Gold Market Annual Summit was held in Boao. Boao is like, I had a look. It's on it's on an island in the south of China. I'll get you, let me show you so you can have an idea. Let's look at where it is first. Hainan, sorry, I forgot the name. I think we need to start learning these places anyway, but so China is it's quite a big country too. So that's where Boao is. They have a entrepreneurs conference in China every year. So that's Boao there in the island of Hainan. It's interesting, is right in the south of China. There's Taiwan, of course. So I'll zoom in. So here we go. That's Boao Gang, they call it as well. So let's go. Just wanted to show you where this was so that people don't think, oh, where is this, Boao conference? So this is what I thought was interesting here. I'm going to read it to you. Bear with me. So Gong Xiang, so it's this guy here, said that 2021 will be an extraordinary year. The century of change in the world is intertwined with the epidemic of the century. Won't comment much on that, but under the severe international political and economic situation, the gold market, as an important part of the financial market and consumer market, is at a major historical juncture. Digital, smart, green, and ecological have become the trend characteristics of gold development, and gold will play an important role in restructuring the world's industrial structure. He goes on to say, 20 years ago, the sun, sacred bird unearthed in Xinsha, Sichuan, became a symbol of Chinese cultural heritage. The golden mask unearthed in Dui not long ago quickly spread online and became a net celebrity, stunning the world. As a big country of gold reserves, there you go, my country must realize the transition from a big country to a strong country. I think that also means a strong currency and better play the role of gold in maintaining financial stability. This is an important mission given to China's gold industry by the Times. So this is a translation from Chinese, so it might sound a bit strange. I will put a link to this article, though, below in the description of this live stream later on when it's recorded. So I thought that was quite significant. It just goes to show how China is determined to have gold as the part of the, very important part of their financial system. And you might want to say whatever you want about China. It's communist, it's dictatorial, or whatever. But I think the Chinese know that if they want to be a strong country and powerful economy, they need gold because the only reason why the United States still has some power and the reserve currency is because it had most of the gold after World War II, and it was an industrial economic power. So it's the Chinese are not going to follow countries like Zimbabwe or Brazil who have fiat currencies, right? They look at the past and see that strong countries or even empires, even though I don't think they want to be an empire, even though some people might say they do, there's always sound money. Am I saying that the Chinese populace will be free? I'm not necessarily, unfortunately, but I think it just goes to show how important gold is. Xander the Great, do you have any example that you can share with us of how the globalists have tried to silence you? Keep up the good work. Love your content. No, I don't have any example, really. I mean, I can't, no, not really. I mean, the only place, I guess, where maybe YouTube, where I do most of my videos or all my videos. Maybe I'm shadow banned a bit because of that. But apart from that, I haven't had any threats or anything like that. Alex Cooper, estimate your gold's true value, 5,000 pounds, 10,000 pounds or more. I have no idea. Yeah, and I'm serious because the way the system's going, you won't be measuring gold in pounds or dollars or any fiat currency. It will, the important thing about gold will be its purchasing power versus assets or goods or financial assets as well. So yeah, I really can't tell where gold is going to be in terms of fiat currency. It's like asking someone in Venezuela in 2016, when gold is about 8,000 bolivars, where do you think gold is going to go? And gold went into the hundreds of millions in Venezuelan currency. So it's very hard to say. And for it to be, yeah, I think if we do get to 10,000 pounds, then we're not going to stop, especially in the next few years. So we need to try to get out. I know it's frustrating. We always follow the price of gold because it's a barometer, but we need to focus on gold itself and silver, of course, as well as insurance, and not to be too concerned about its fiat price. I'm not trying to yeah, I'm not trying to make people think that it's not important because it's a signal, but I also think it's hard to say. But historically, though, if the system doesn't collapse and the powers that be are able to reset things, we usually go back to 1-to-1 versus the Dow. So who knows? It could be Dow 10,000 and gold 10,000. It could be Dow 50,000 and gold 50,000, or it could be the Dow crashes back to 1,000 and gold is at 1,000. And you might say, well, gold will have gone down by 50%. Well, but the Dow will have gone down by a lot more. So that's why it's difficult to say what price or fiat price gold will be. What I think gold and silver will do is always hold their value in terms of purchasing power. I'm drinking some tea. David Bradley, I agree. The CBDC, it has to be, I think the Chinese, if they come out, they will back their currency by gold, the CBDC Chinese currency. I got some more stuff to show here. With this, I guess, with this new Greek letter, that's all I'll say about it. I said, I think last week already, when they were talking about this Greek letter, that the central bankers would use this as an excuse not to tighten policy. So this came out Friday. Hawkish Bank of England rate setter warns Omicron might delay tightening. Michael Saunders says there are advantages in waiting for more information about impact of the coronavirus variant. So that's not a surprise to me, and it shouldn't be to you as well. So, and I'll just show you this, a little more about this conference in China. It was not just about gold. So this is from another website, cfbond.com. It's a Chinese website. So Boao Forum for Entrepreneurs. So they talk about carbon peaking, carbon neutrality, green economy, summit forum. So the Chinese are following this carbon policy. They might not do it as quickly as the West. Am I saying this is right? No, but this is the way they're going as well. And so just goes to show you, this is just to show you where these comments about gold were made, this conference. And okay, let's take some questions now. One thing I would say, if you want to, even though there's not, let's have a look. Yeah, so let's go through some questions. Buy silver and platinum, buy Swiss franc. Belly Dance Ravia has a question. What do you think gold to silver ratio will be? Yeah, I think we could go back to 15, 16 to 1. Some people think it could go lower. Some people think silver will be as valuable as gold. I'm not too sure about that. I think in 2011, we got down to the low 30s. So I think we'll go through that level this time around. IB Crypto, thank you for your super chat. Seeing that it's IB Crypto, I'll say one thing about it was kind of like a flash crash, I guess, in cryptocurrencies. We saw Bitcoin drop from 56,000 to 42,000. So that was a 25% drop. And one of the lessons I think yesterday, a lot of people probably learned is leverage, because I've seen many times, because I have accounts in many cryptocurrency exchanges, not because I trade like for like short-term trade. It's just that a lot of times I exchange my altcoins like Hive and Steemit and others on social media blockchain websites into like a Bitcoin or Ethereum, or in order to convert them into my local fiat currency. And I see in a lot of these exchanges that they allow you to trade with 10 times leverage. And so let's say yesterday someone had a leverage position, long Bitcoin, 4 times leverage, and the market dropped 25%. Well, they would have been wiped out. I know the markets come back, but if it went through 25%, their position might have been closed by the exchange. So that's the lesson. I think there is a lot of froth in cryptocurrencies, which is unfortunate, because it was supposed to be an alternative to the current system that is highly leveraged as well and risky. So that's what I'll say about that. Rochelle, I've been tracking Chinese yuan and gold and trading view. Notice gold is at a stable price. So I think Rickard's thesis is correct. I don't really know what Rickard's thesis is, but yeah, what I think is the dollar. I mean, we topped around 720 to the yuan, and right now it's pretty stable around 640. So yeah, anyway. Joker Rafa, I heard Rafi got delivery of his Comex silver. However, he does not possess the silver yet. The Comex just allocate Rafi silver. So he didn't. So if he doesn't have his silver, he hasn't. What's happened with Rafi is he's got the warrants. They delivered to him the warrant, which is like a piece of paper saying that you can have your silver. But what they haven't done is they haven't loaded the silver. They haven't given him the physical silver, and I don't think they ever will. They might, but I mean, I've told people in the past, and I could have told Rafi before he started, that he was going to have a very tough time getting delivery. And does Comex never deliver? Yes, they do, but they deliver to the big boys, to like the silver users, or in the other soft agricultural commodities. They'll probably deliver to producers and big multinational corporations. But to us, the little guy, they will avoid delivering like the plague. And why is that? Well, because they want Comex to be a paper exchange. I mean, I've talked about this several times. People have talked about this in the gold and silver space, about the WikiLeaks document from 1974, where the U.S. Treasury and the U.S. Embassy in London and the Bullion Market Association were talking about the day that gold was going to be legalized again, January 1st, 75, that they were going to have a new gold contract. And they specified this gold futures contract will be good because it will stop Americans from demanding physical. They'll be able to trade. And that's what they want. So my money is on, unfortunately, Rafi is not going to get his silver. And what would be the best course of action if that happens? I would say to sue Comex for not performing its on the contract, for reneging the contract. Silver Sonic, thank you for your super chat. Kraken removed Monero for UK war on privacy coins. Not surprising. Not surprising at all. Steve Ross Holmes, thank you for your super chat. If Omicron turns out to be very contagious but benign, and it puts an end to the fear, how will this change the economy, the Fed, stock, and gold prices? I think even if it's, I mean, we've heard from guys in South Africa that it is benign. So, but people are still fearful. People are gone crazy. So I don't know. It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say because we know, they're telling us that it is benign. So it's just like a common flu. But anyway, right now, I think the world economy is slowing down. Even Goldman Sachs is come out with a prediction that US GDP is going to slow down in the next few months. Yeah, so, and we've seen that about 60 like big corporate insiders, they've sold about 69 billion worth of $69 billion worth of their own stock. So there you go. Difficult to say though. I think the damage has been done with this Omicron, especially here in the UK. I think, not too sure about in the US, but people are canceling. They've changed the rules for people traveling back to the UK. They have to do all these tests. So that's going to stop travel agent business. I heard a lot of people have canceled their Christmas lunches and dinners at pubs. So the damage has been done. A lot of people are scared about these things. John Bethia, why does Comex make such a big deal about giving a meager 5,000 ounces? Well, because Comex is not really a physical market. Because it's a paper market, and they don't want to encourage people like us to take delivery of 5,000 ounces, because then the whole world would, not the whole world, but a lot of people would do so, because the Comex is an exchange, especially for gold and silver, where the bankers dominate that exchange, and they leverage an ounce maybe 100 times with paper. So if you start getting people like us taking delivery, the whole game will collapse. So what's the solution if Comex is not going to deliver to retail people? Well, it's to keep buying physical from your dealer. If Comex is not going to do it, we got to go through the retail market. And that's why. I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible. If you do a super chat, I'm not like saying, oh, give me money or anything. It's just that it's easier to see. Super Seamster says, I wish I could buy 5,000 ounces. Yeah, it's quite a lot. I think Rafi is doing this with a group of other people, so it's not just him. Larry Ferris thinks there will be a very bad recession, onset of a bad recession, 2022. Possible. John Turkington, did you read the Telegraph from June 21st? Had a Bank of England tells ministers to intervene on digital currency programming. Don't remember that article, even though I do subscribe to the Telegraph, but I wouldn't be surprised. Queen's Beast. I've got some silver, the 2-ounce coins. I don't know if they're Griffin or I think they're all. They've got all the different beasts. The silver coin, they're all around here, as you can see. That's a 2-ounce silver coin. So there you go. I think, is it the gold that has different beasts? I don't know. I haven't bought one of those. I recommend, like Joko Alpha is talking about the 5,000 ounce Comex. I recommend, Rafi's done quite a few videos about that. He actually said that some of the bars are more than 5,000 ounces. So the contract specs are actually not completely right. You can have bars that are 5,100 ounces. So you might actually have to pay more. Hi, Grow Mechanic. Nice to see you. Echo, do you think gas and electric will keep rising? I think it will keep rising. I know natural gas prices have come down, the American contract, but I saw a guy on Twitter who follows the energy market for Bloomberg. He said electricity prices are still really high in the EU, and I think the same will be for the UK. Tim Gibson said he can't hear Billy. Well, he's not snoring as loudly tonight. Scott 49,140. Would you say 85 pounds for a 1989 silver crown too much? You'd have to check. You know, I'm not a numismatics expert. A crown is, I think, 0.83 of an ounce of silver. You'd have to check the condition of the coin, how rare it is. I have an 1889 crown, which one of you guys sent to me. Yeah, he sent me 4. I forgot who it was. Sent me 4 crowns. So unless it's like in mint state and in really good condition, I would say 85 pounds is a bit too much. I would contact Peter Morris. Let's see. I'll give you. You can check online. Peter Morris coins and medals. I know him well, and he will tell you if it's too much or not. He's in Bromley North Station, but if you Google, you'll find his phone number. Bob Hunter, thank you for your super chat. Augustin Karstens is on a diet now. He's only eating a quarter of the planet. I wonder if he likes bugs. Von der Leyen is an evil orc. Yeah, Augustin Karstens. He is I think he's a bit overweight. Yeah, I would say that, to say the least. Girl OG, thank you for your Norwegian kronas super chat. The new moronic variant is gonna play out what the elite wishes. So central bankers have to get higher interest rates. Deflation is coming big time. Wait and see, not inflation. I'm not sure. I mean, deflation. Yes, a deflationary a slowdown in the economy or a recession. I agree, but even in a recession, you can have inflation. And by inflation, I mean the increase in the supply of money and credit. Because if you look at, if you look at the charts of money supply for the last 80 years, they always keep going up. There's never a blip. And I doubt there will be actually deflation in terms of the money supply. Yes, I think there will be prices that are going to drop, like the stock market, maybe cryptos and other speculative assets. But I actually think the price of necessities, the things that we need to survive on, are going to keep rising. Not too sure. It's difficult to say. But one thing I would say, if we have a severe depression and deflation, which I think is almost impossible in a fiat currency system. And why do I say that? Well, because the central bank can just create reserves and transfer those reserves to the banking system out of thin air. So yeah, the last time we had deflation, the US was on a gold standard. So yeah, the money supply shrunk because people took money out, real money, gold out of the bank. And that's why they had to confiscate it. But right now, there's no limit to how much currency and credit they can create. So I would say more deflation of asset prices, but the currencies are going to keep going lower. AK has a question. Is it worth investing in Swiss franc? No. I don't think it. If you want to protect against the dollar and other currencies going down, you have to have gold and even silver, because the Swiss franc is just as bad. It's just the least worse fiat currency, even though, and I would say the Swiss National Bank, they've been printing a lot of money and they're buying a lot of the FANG stocks. They have been doing it for years. So I wouldn't trust the Swiss franc. Shane O'Donnell, thank you for your super chat. Do you think the gold silver miners are oversold and now worth getting into? Do you think they can go lower? Well, I've been investing in the gold and silver miners for the last 12 months, maybe a little more. And yes, my portfolio is down right now. I noticed that on Friday, they got hit quite a lot, but then it recovered quite strongly at the end of the day. I don't know. The timing is always difficult, but long term, they're really undervalued. Yes, they are against any kind of measure and compared to other assets. And they have also, I think Tavi Costa talks a lot about this. They have a lot of free cash flow, the gold and silver miners. So I guess I don't advise people when to buy or sell, but I personally think right now it could go lower, but not that much more because it's been quite painful already in the last few months, I would say. What happened, Ryan Morosi, what happens to gold if massive population decrease and China releases its reserve? Would we all be screwed if we were stacking? I have never thought about, population decrease. I mean, Um, I don't know what you mean by that. You think the half the world is going to die, or but if that, I think the last time there was a lot black plague back in the 1300s, or is it 1400s? I think it was 1300s in Europe. Uh, what happened is that there was a huge amount of the population in Europe died, and you had a lot of shortages of things, and labor became really expensive because there weren't many people to work, and actually prices went up. This is a really a question that's, I don't know. It's a weird question, and why would people be screwed for having money, i.e., gold and silver, even if yeah. So I don't know what you mean by that. Um, I wouldn't be concerned about that. Miles, how is it we are not already in stagflation in the US, regardless of causes? Hasn't criteria being met? Um, well, stagflation is when you have high CPI, which they call inflation, unfortunately. We have that. And you have a recession, a slow economy. And the statistics show that GDP is rebounded quite a lot because last year it shrunk. But I would argue that the only reason GDP is rebounded and is positive is because of all the government spending, all the deficit spending, because they add a government spending to GDP. So the whole picture has been manipulated. Nothing's really truthful. It's like a Potemkin economy. I don't know if you've heard of Potemkin village. It was, I think it was during Imperial Russia. They had some ambassadors or foreign dignitaries visiting Russia. Excuse me. Take a. And they wanted to put Russia into a good light. So I think it was a foreign minister. His name was Potemkin. He built this fake village, and it looked really nice. So I think that's what the not only the U.S. economy, but the UK economy, the European economy. If it wasn't for government spending, yes, we'd all be in a huge stagflation, and it's going to get worse, I think. Neil Moy, what happens when we hit hyperinflation? Would the Fed shut shop? How can they be accountable? Do you think we need to bring back hanging? Uh, are you in the UK? And you, I guess, yeah. I mean, or in the US, they have capital punishment in the US. Here in the UK, we don't. I think it was stopped in the 50s or 60s. Well, the Fed will have a lot of trouble if there is hyperinflation. Hopefully, they would shut shop, but I'm sure they'll try to find an excuse that it wasn't their fault. The Lily Robin, yeah, there is a study that predicts a huge population drop by 2025. I've seen that. Yeah, the population projections. Is it? I forgot the website. It's public. Scott 491. Could the gold price grow if China is saying it's going to play an important role in the future? I think so, yeah, because not China has also got a lot of debt, not as much, I would say, as the West. and their system is leveraged. We've seen Evergrande. So I think what the Chinese gold will do is help them, have a soft landing, while other countries, they'll be in trouble because they don't have as much gold, especially like the UK. We've only got 300 tons. And the US, I don't think a lot of people don't think that there is the 8,300 metric tons in Fort Knox. Yeah, it is the Deagle report. Yeah, and that's the one that predicts a huge drop in the population, especially in US and UK. I guess we will have to wait until 2025 to know if that was, if there's anything to that. The other thing I would say about the gold situation and the geopolitics, by geopolitics, I mean all the talk that we're seeing in the last week or so about China wanting to invade Taiwan and maybe Russia wanting to invade the Ukraine. I think the West is concerned, and I think this is why here. This is an article from Friday in Kitco. On Kitco, it says renewed gold weakness has central banks and miners buying. I would just focus on this here. It says Singapore increased its gold reserves by about 20% earlier this year in a largely under the radar move. Well, that was recent. We spoke about that, right? Says the Irish Central Bank has also been adding to its gold reserves. This morning, Russia Finance Ministry said its regular FX and gold purchases in the market totaled 502 billion rubles. According to World Gold Council, strong purchases by Thailand, Hungary, Brazil early this year. Central bankers' appetite for gold grew in the first half of the year. This is quite significant here. It says, let's go here. This one here, I'll highlight it. Global reserves expanded 332 metric tons in the first half of this year, 39% higher than the 5-year average for the period. So I think that's significant. I also spoke about a story I saw, or maybe I didn't, but I'll tell you about it now. I saw it this week as well, that Serbia has repatriated all its gold back home, 37 metric tons. And the central banker in Serbia said they're going to keep buying gold. And why is that significant? I think it's to do with China a little bit and the One Belt, One Road initiative. And apparently the Balkan countries in Europe, they have a lot of investment from China. They want to be a part of this One Belt, One Road. And you could probably see Serbia listening to China and Russia and saying, if you want to be part of this One Belt, One Road club, if you want to work closely with us, you need to have gold, because we're not going to take dollars. So I think that's significant. The other significant thing that I saw in terms of, we saw here that Brazil, actually I made a video this summer that Brazil increased its gold reserves by 62% this year, which is huge, 62% increase. And just recently, I think it was last week, I saw a story on Instagram from some people I follow in Brazil. And this is, I think, in my opinion, significant. It says Putin invites Brazil's Bolsonaro to visit Russia. So speaking at the ambassador's credentials presentation ceremony, Putin noted that Russia will continue to gradually strengthen the bilateral cooperation with Brazil on trade, energy, scientific, and other tracks. So I also listened to the interview that the Brazilian president gave about this invitation. I'm not going to play it because it's in Portuguese, but I can tell you that he accepted it, and they're going in February or March. The Brazilian president is going to visit Putin, and he said they need to increase trade, commerce, and economic, how can I say, cooperation with Russia. They also said that we're maintaining a big cooperation with China. I think Brazil exports a lot of food stuff, a lot of soft commodities to China. So I think that's one of the reasons Brazil is buying a lot of gold as well. So I know Brazil is not in Eurasia or Europe, but I think, yeah, it will play along with this one belt, one road. Bob Hunter, thank you for your super chat. A small favor towards the world's communist parties around the world for their one-way ticket to the red planet and leave us kind, loving humans alone. Okay. Yeah, Pablo Pino, that's the BRICS again. Yeah, that's right. That's the BRICS. Have I got something else here? So yeah, I thought that was interesting. There. That's about all the articles I had to share. So we've got quite a few people, 950. That's quite good. Usually we've been getting about 700 watching at the same time. John Turkington, we need to get off the central bank's monopoly board. That's right. We need that monopoly board splintered into 1,000 pieces. That's maybe what JFK would have said. He said he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces. Tristan Jones, do you think the Fed would be successful at tackling inflation if they committed to do so? What do you think it would take? I'm laughing at Tristan because the Fed, that's their last, the last thing they want to do is contain inflation because they are an inflation machine. What they try to do is to inflate as much as possible without us, the public, noticing it. And the problem they have now is that the public is noticing it. So yeah, don't think of the Fed as an inflation fighter. They're an inflation creator. They're like a burglar that got caught. And they're trying to say, oh, we're going to, and they're trying to disguise and say, oh, we're going to go and find that burglar for you, even though it was them. So yeah, they might do a few token things, but unfortunately, there's no way out for them because they've created such a monster in the last, especially since 08, but I would say also since Greenspan came, to power at the Fed. They've created a monster of speculation, a credit orgy, I would say. And unfortunately, it's not just the Fed that is to blame, but everyone, the general public is to blame as well. Not everyone, of course, but people like the easy money. They like to get things for nothing. And they like, the stock market going up. So there you go. Hank McGurk just got back from West Palm Beach. Dinner for two was 101. A Dalmatian, then it. Yeah, it was a 101, 101 Dalmatians. Is that including the state tax, Hank? Here in the UK as well, if you go out for a nice dinner, it's gone up a lot. You're going to spend, if you have a nice bottle of wine and let's say not even a 3-course meal, but if you have a starter and a main, it's going to be 100 pounds at least. Jim Marshall, good evening. Nice to see you here. Palmer, I agree with you. American leadership is in full cooperation with China leadership. Yeah. and the thing I would say, I've seen some headlines this week that Citibank is looking to get back into China. Goldman Sachs is in China. JP Morgan is in China. There's a lot of American, BlackRock, a lot of financial institutions. So all this talk of war and stuff, I think, is just distractions. Shazman, any ideas how Mr. Global is holding down gold and silver? Well, it's called the Comex and the LBMA, and the head of the snake really, probably the Bank of England and the BIS, they have some gold, and what they do, they lease that gold out many times over. And how, and you might ask, how can you lease something that you don't have? Well, that's what they do in the gold market. And then the bullion banks go in and they sell gold that they don't have. And the problem is that there's a lot of traders and speculators that trade just paper gold. They just want to trade the price. So that's how they control it. But if enough people start asking for delivery of real gold and silver, that game could be up. And I think it might, because not only retail or very wealthy individuals have to ask for physical, but when you see countries like Singapore, Brazil, and others, and Poland or Ireland buying gold, they're not buying futures, or they're not buying unallocated metal from the LBMA, from the bullion banks. They're buying real gold. So that's how they control the price, but they can't do it forever, because like with anything, if you keep suppress the price of a commodity, eventually you'll have shortages, just like we have here in the UK. We've had energy prices, gas and electricity, go up through the roof because Theresa May, the previous prime minister, put a cap on energy prices. So what it did, it's limited the supply. It's bankrupted some companies as well. And the same thing will happen to gold and silver eventually. That's the way I see it. SW says we hit 1,000 viewers. That's good. I think the most I got once was 1,700. Neo Hunt says Mario is on American time, so more viewers. Well, I always do my live stream at 9 p.m. London, which is 4 p.m. Eastern time. And the reason I do it is because I get I think about 45% of my viewers are in the US, about 15% in the UK. So yeah, you have to think of those things. Brandon B, let's go, Brandon. When your money is fake, what's real? Well, it's anything that you can hold that has some value, like a silver coin or a gold coin, or something of value like a fine watch. Yeah, anything that is good quality and lasts a long time, a luxury good, I guess. Gold and silver are luxuries, I would say. Yeah, that's what value is. I think the other thing of value is investing in yourself, your family, helping them accomplish what they want to accomplish. And yeah, learning is valuable, I think, as well, and doing things as well, of course, not just you got to act. Echo, do you think RPI will carry on up to 10% in the next few months? Yeah, the RPI is the retail price index, which used to be what people used to look at in this country before, up until 20 years ago, and they brought in a CPI, which is always about 1 to 2% less than the RPI. It's possible I think the RPI got up to about 5 or maybe more the last month. It could go to 10. I think a lot of the big corporations are holding back, passing on their costs because they can afford to hold on for a few months, but eventually it's gonna filter through from the PPI. PPI in Europe we see is growing by more than 20%. So yeah, it's possible RPI could go to 10%. Mike P, thanks for your great work. Will gold be of any value if governments tax it, force exchange for central bank digital currency? Can governments do anything? Well, the only reason governments would try to take gold from you or tax it is because it's valuable. So why would they want it if it's not? So I can't forecast whether they'll do that. I mean, different countries that have different rules on capital gains. And for example, in the UK, coins of the realm, they don't incur capital gains in terms of gold or silver. I know that in the US, you have to pay capital gains for gold, but not here in the UK. So yeah. Remand, what are your views on Jeff Snyder and Stephen Van Meter? I don't know much about Jeff Snyder, but Stephen Van Meter, I don't know the guys personally, so I don't know if they're nice guys or anything. All I think is that they're wrong. And why I think they're wrong about deflation? Well, because they look at deflation as a decrease in price. They don't look at the classical definition of deflation, which is the shrinking of money, the fiat currency supply and credit. And they've been wrong because they look at inflation as a negative CPI. And I know that Steve Van Meter, just because bond yields are really low in the US and Europe, he says that points to deflation, but I would say it points to manipulation because central bankers they've increased their balance sheet in the West, the major central banks, from around 3 trillion in 08 to almost 30 trillion now. What are they doing with those trillions? They're buying bonds and driving rates lower. So we have inflation, and the rising prices are proof of that. So that's all I have to say. Snyder, I don't really follow him, so I can't say anything. So yeah, I think he's wrong, Mr. Van Meter, with all due respect. He has to go back to his drawing board. He has to go back to the 1930s, because in the 30s there was deflation, but we were on a gold standard in the US. So when people took the gold out of the banks, the money supply, the currency supply that the banks could issue shrunk. But now central banks can just create all the currency or reserves they want. And we've seen that since last year, with QE, the money supply has also gone up, M2. I agree that after 08, you had a lot of QE and the money supply didn't really move that much, but now it's moving in tandem. So yeah, anyway, enough of Richard Martin says Jeff Snyder doesn't think that. Well, I said I don't know. I don't follow Jeff Snyder. I was just talking about Steve Van Meter. So there you go. You've putting words in my mouth. That's how you get. So as I said, I don't know the guy. Richard Martin says Fed can't print money. Well, I recommend you watch Best Evidence because they've been doing that. They've been buying directly from non-financial institutions since March last year. It's the going direct. So Richard, why do you think there's so much froth in the stock market? Why do you think prices are going up? Do you think Martians came and loosened monetary policy? No, it was the Federal Reserve. Steve Van Meter claims QE is in reality financial tightening. So if that's so, then why is the Fed, with all the inflation or rising prices ahead, why is the Fed talking about stopping QE or tapering? That doesn't make sense to me. There you go. Anyway. Alan Rod, do central banks own silver? I don't think many do. I read a few years ago that maybe I think the Russian central bank might have some silver. Apart from that, I don't know of other central banks that have silver. Yes, Rochelle Fernandez. Yeah, John Titus. If people want to understand, I'll even put give you a link how the Fed is pushing up the supply of currency and credit. Let me get the link. I think I think Mr. Van Meter would do well to watch this. Let's see. This is the video.
Welcome to a
okay. This is the video here. I'm going to put a link to it. There you go. And I'll put it in the description of the video as well. This is John Titus's latest video about how what the Fed is doing. Oh, hi, Thomas. Thank you for your super chat. Best Evidence is actually on YouTube as well. I don't know if he's on BitChute. I know that John Titus is on YouTube. Dublin White Cracker, why is the premiums on platinum so big? To be honest, I don't follow platinum that much, nor the premiums. I'll take a couple of more questions. It's time to end the live stream. Joshua O'Brien, are central banks doing yield curve control? maybe overtly, the Aussie Reserve Bank was doing it until a month or so ago. They had to abandon it because yield curve control is basically telling the market they're going to defend a certain level, and if the market tests that, they start buying the bond and keeping the yields low. But the Aussie Central Bank lost control of that. But yeah, I think the way they do it with covertly is by talking the market forward guidance and by doing QE. What is money for Mario, Jim Marshall? Well, there's a few qualities of money. It has to be a store of value. It has to be a method of payment. It has to measure wealth over time. So, yeah, I guess the fiat dollar is a good payment method, but all the other qualities, it's really bad. And the only reason gold and silver aren't methods of payment is because they're not legal tender anymore. But if there were no legal tender laws, I would bet that gold and silver would be. And it could be anything else. It depends on the time. Like, let's say, after World War II in Germany, cigarettes were used as money and currency. It depends on during extreme times. I guess cigars could become money, whatever people need and people desire a lot. But the Austrian School of Economics, they usually call it the most marketable commodity. Of course, in the fiat currency world, that's all out the door because government controls, unfortunately, by force, the money. Miles, thank you for your super chat. The day you let some Joe Blow come along and steal, tax you just because they say so is the day you gave up your sovereignty. People will still allow their gold land crypts to be taxed. Cowardice. All right. So again, thank you everyone for being here and participating. Thank you for all the support, all the questions. And